Carla, it's lovely to get a chance to sit down and talk to you. Welcome to the job. You've been in it for a while now, but today was your first full-on training session. So what are your thoughts coming back from the grass?
Do you know what, it's been good. I think the girls in the last couple of days have been unbelievable, very receptive, and trying to get new messages in is sometimes, you know, takes time, but they've reacted really well. And yeah, I would say the intensity at training was high through the roof, but that's you would like to think that that's normal, you know, new head coach coming in, people want to make an impression, but they've been first class, they really have.
And you have a new team as well. I mean, tell me about the people that are part of the management, the Carla Ward management team.
Yeah, Marnie's Alan Marn, obviously, call him Marnie, but I've known him for a number of years, and obviously we've had a lot of battles, and one of the top four I've managed to get a few wins over, so he won't like that, but no, I've got a good relationship with him and someone I've always wanted to work with. We see the game in a very similar way. We both believe in the right, we have the same values, and you know, we want to do things in a certain way. And I think when I started going through the process, there was only one person I wanted to bring with me, and Dublin born and bred. He jumped at the chance. So yeah, that's the first one. And then Amber's come in from Liverpool, who we only recently recruited. Obviously we needed another coach in the building, so we brought her in. And then we brought a couple of analysts in from the WSL, Jackson from Villa and Rihanna from Brighton, and then a nutritionist from Brighton as well. So we've got some really good WSL experience in there.
You need that these days. The game has become properly professional now, and you need a team behind the 11 and the team that you put out on the pitch.
100%. And do you know what? The staff that were already here are unbelievable. You know, really good people, really good quality, and we've added to that. And I actually said to him last night, just a thank you and well done, because it's very difficult sometimes to bring two groups of staff together, but because everyone is a really good person, it's been seamless.
Alan did say that when he played against you, that you set up teams really well to stifle Manchester City, who are obviously a top team. Is that so? How do you set up your teams?
Yeah, we won't give too much away before the Turkey game, but I think one thing I've always wanted to do is want players to play with a smile on their face and some freedom. So very clear framework, but particularly on the ball, we want them to play with personality. Off the ball, the roles are very, very clear. So they're the non-negotiables off the ball. But on the ball, we want to see personality, front-footed, smile on their faces, confident, a belief, and I think that's really important. And I think even the clubs I've been at, we've not necessarily been blessed with resource or finances, but we've got we've got more percentages out of players from bringing that to life.
The Ireland team that you are inheriting, if you want to call it that way, you've lost a lot of experience, the likes of Niamh, Diane Caldwell, Julianne, but there's still a lot of strong personalities with a lot of big game experience in this team. Are you looking forward to the challenge of managing that?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've managed some fairly big characters, some of the biggest characters in the WSL over the last few years, and I love that. I was a character myself. I was somebody in the dressing room that could be hard work, but I think that I quite like that. But big game experience is massive. You know, we need that. We're going to need that. We've lost 3 unbelievable players that have served their country brilliantly. So now we need more leaders to step up. We've spoken about that. Who's going to step up and take the reins? Because we can't just have 1 or 2 of the normal leaders. We need more now stepping up.
Talk to me about your own playing career then. I mean, what got you interested in football? It was your passion from the beginning, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up on a council estate where all the boys played football, and I don't really know what the girls did because I was always with the boys. But yeah, it was just an estate that loved, breathed football. You know, we would probably jump over the school fence and go and play on the school pitches, and it was just what we did growing up. And I had 2 older brothers, which you would imagine played football, but they didn't actually. They hated it. So yeah, no, I think it was more the estate I lived on. Everyone loved football, and yeah, just got into it from an early age, and I loved it ever since.
But when did you know that you had something a bit special that you could perhaps make a career out of it?
Yeah, I was in year 6 actually, and my PE teacher, Mr. Matthews, I asked if I could train with the boys, train for the football team. There was no boys and girls then because, quite honestly, there was no girls football. So went to training with the team, only girl there, and then you have to wait until the Friday or the Monday, I can't remember which day it was, and you put up the team for the game. And I remember going and having a look, thinking might be in, might not be. And I wasn't only just in, he made me captain. So not only is he putting a girl, and I was thinking, I might be okay at this actually. You know, there might be something here. So yeah, that was the start of it, and look where we are now. It just never went away.
Let's talk though about your playing career and some of the highlights. Leeds, Doncaster, Lincoln, Sheffield United. I mean, what stands out for you? What moments would you look at in your career and say that was special?
Yeah, I think a couple really. When I played in Spain, I probably learned more than I ever did. One, because I couldn't understand the language when I first got there and you had to learn a different way. Two, it was a very technical game and you have to learn a different part of the game, very different to maybe the way that the English coach. And then I would say moment at Sheffield FC where we got promoted into the Super League, and that was really important. That was a very, very, I think it was like 90th minute, 0-0. Unbelievable moment, and safe to say we enjoyed that one.
If you were a reporter, how would you write about you as a player?
Wholehearted, front-footed. Megan Campbell said to me today in the warm-up, Wardy, when did you, how long is it since you last played? Because I think I can still play, right? My head does, but my body doesn't. So I said, 10 years. And she said, wow, because it feels like yesterday. But then we got talking with some of the staff, and Amber said, you could play a little bit, couldn't you? And I said, go on, sum me up. Front-footed, aggressive, wholehearted. But yeah, I like to do things with a smile on my face in everything I do.
Are you allowing the players to call you Wardy? Surely Gaffer is the most they should be allowed.
Do you know what? I don't know. I don't actually know yet. Some of them will call me Carla. Some of them will call me Wardy. Some of them, yeah, Gaffer. It is what it is. I'm not precious.
Did you always think that you were, maybe the Spanish experience helped you in the technical side, but always destined to be a coach?
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought about it until I had a problem with my back and I had a spinal operation, and as I was coming back from in the rehab stage of that, I decided to do my B licence because I was out for a number of months, and I did my B licence and I really enjoyed it. And the coach said to me, you need to get on your A licence straight away. You know, you've got something. And I thought, oh, maybe I have, but I never thought about it. And then the youngsters start passing you, and you think, you come to the end here. And I was doing a bit of coaching, but you never really looked that far ahead because you never envisioned stepping down as a player. And then when I did, yeah, I never looked back.
So Sheffield United was the beginning of the coaching journey.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was an interesting one actually, because when I say I never looked back, the day that I went to train with Doncaster Bells, just for a couple of sessions, wondering, have I got one more year in me here and go and win WSL2? Or do I call it a day? So I thought, I've got one more year in me. And then I was on the way home from training, and Sheffield United chairman, Kevin McKay, I had a voicemail, and he said, Carla, it's Kevin McKay from Sheffield United. And at this point I'm thinking, okay. He said, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Okay. So we pick up a couple of days later, and he says, look, we want to take the women's team who weren't affiliated to the club under our umbrella, but we want to go professional, we want to get into the Super League, but we need somebody with the knowledge to help us with that. So I thought, okay, if I don't take this opportunity, somebody else is going to. So I did, and I did cry for about a week, so there was no longer a player, but I did massively enjoy that. And I think it was an interesting one because I went from being a player to a manager overnight. And whilst it says I played for Sheffield United, it wasn't. It was an in to help them play a coach, help them with what we needed to do. I never kicked a ball for them. So went on and learned an awful lot. It was a really difficult year actually, the first year, because I still thought I was a player.
I'm just wondering, when in your head did the switch change to you being, I'm a coach now?
When you make mistakes, when you make a lot of mistakes, I think like anything in life, right? You make mistakes and you learn, and I think the sooner you get knocked out, it's like a boxing ring, the sooner you get hit, the sooner you get up, right? So I made a lot of mistakes in that first year, and I probably treated the players still like my friends, like I was the dressing room joker that I was, and all of that. And then you realise that actually, if you're gonna be successful, they're no longer your friends. You have to remove them all off social media. You have to stop having these relationships with them as friends. And that was tough. But when I did, and I become not stonewall to it, but that was the moment I thought, if I'm going to be successful, that has to change. So it took me a bit of time. I'd say probably 18 months to 2 years. And then when I got that, I started to develop a little bit more as a manager.
That's probably a lesson that you can bring into a life lesson you can bring into any sort of business environment, I imagine.
I think so, yeah. I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you don't realise how difficult it is until you're in it. But yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. I was lucky not to get the sack actually, because I got into an argument one day with a player. He's actually a really good friend of mine now. And you're arguing like you're a player. You can't do that as a head coach. So, yeah, you learn a lot. I learned an awful lot. Yeah.
Birmingham City then, where you met some Irish players
Yep.
along the way. And like your view of the Irish team, long before you were anywhere near involved, like you could see them improving until
Yes.
finally they made their major breakthrough to qualify for a tournament.
Yeah, look, I've always loved working with the Irish, and you know, I always say they have a mentality like mine. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but it's working class. It's hard working. It's honest. It's brave. It's, you know, it's front-footed. It's personality, and it's die hard. And I love that, and I loved that in the Irish players. Now, leading into the World Cup, it's funny because we go back to it, but I actually helped some of our Irish players with the analysis of opposition, with how we could help them in other areas, and that's important because there's I always had a bit of a love for the Irish, and I love the accent as well, can't lie. Absolutely love it. So I've always loved the attitude of the Irish, and it sums it up. I've come here and they're unbelievable. Now,
management is so difficult, and the lifespan of a coach in a club is getting shorter and shorter. At Aston Villa, did you feel that you had burnout essentially?
100%, but I don't think I realised it at the time. And it's interesting because obviously it got to about Christmas in that third year. And obviously my little girl was like, Mummy, am I going to have a day off with you tomorrow? And I'm like, no, baby. And she's like, when am I going to have a day off with you? And you start thinking, you do everything you do for your kids, but then you don't see them. So that started to play on my heart a little bit, and mum guilt is horrendous. But then I felt the weight of that, and I felt myself withdrawing from the job and being overtired a lot. Now, I didn't realise it at the time. When I walked away, there was a sense of relief. And then when I had this summer to breathe, I realised actually how burnt out I was. And I could not believe I didn't recognise it earlier. But you don't want to, because you just keep going. It's not you're on a hamster wheel, you just keep going. And I'm one of those, no matter if I'm having a bad time in front of the players, I'm at it, I'm lively, I'm the energy, I make sure everyone's at it. So that becomes tough if you're that constant person, which you keep doing, but at some point you're going to hit a wall, and I hit a gigantic wall.
You talk about mum guilt, but I don't hear Pep Guardiola or Arne Slot talk about dad guilt. I mean, is this something specific to the women's game in particular?
No, but I co-parent, so me and my ex-partner, we split up after 15 years. They moved out when my little girl was 2, so that becomes difficult. So would it be easier if I was in a stable life at home? Of course, but that does become difficult. So mum guilt is harder because you potentially only see your daughter 2 or 3 days a week. Now it's different because it's 50-50, but it is tough. Yeah, it's really tough. I hear people talk about how difficult it is being a mum in the job. And that's with a stable family at home. So then you add on the co-parenting. I'll be honest, it was tough. In this now, it's much easier.
Because I heard that Emma Hayes suggested that a kind of a husband-wife relationship, it can be same-sex, it doesn't matter, but it could be sharing the burden as such is something to look at.
I think she was talking more as in at home or at football?
In football sense.
At football, yeah. I think she was talking more about co-coaching, so having 2 head coaches or 2 managers as such. Now, that's where I went down the route with Marnie. Head coach, I'm the manager. We do things together, and that's going to be important. And I think that can take the burden off you still a lot. But it is tough. It is tough. But the other thing is, I don't think it helped. I was travelling 200 miles in and back every day. So it's 200 miles a day and leaving at 5 in the morning, getting home at 10, 11 o'clock at night. That took its toll. But there was lots of contributing factors for sure.
Do you think international football will suit you and suit Hartley?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Look, I can do the school run. I can go to dance shows. I can go to swimming competitions. I can do all of these things that I missed out on, and now obviously she can come to games, she can be over here. So like I'm here for the President's Cup, she's coming with me. I'm here for a few days to do some club visits, she's going to come with me. So it's great.
Is she going to come into camp during camp?
Not this camp. I want to be fully focused on getting off the ground and getting everything going, but April she will come in for a couple of days.
Because when Julianne brought in her baby into camp, that was a boost for everyone, it seemed. And I've seen it at the World Cup. Australia had babies in camp and such. So it's something unique to the women's game at the moment, it seems.
It's amazing how much joy they can bring. You know, being at the Olympics as well in the summer with the US and seeing obviously a couple of the mums there having their kids in. It is a boost, and it's a different sort of mentality for the players and different aspect. And it's great. It's really good. I mean, I'm a big kid myself, so I love having kids around.
Can I ask you the influence of Emma Hayes? We mentioned her there. You know, she's been such a successful coach and will no doubt continue to be with the USA, but you were involved at Olympic level with her. That was, congratulations, I should say.
Yeah, no, she's been unbelievable for me. You know, she's been like a big sister, a mentor, and a good friend all in one. And she's someone obviously I speak to a lot. I'll bounce ideas off. You know, when I had some tough times, she was there. She helped me. She guided me, and I used to just say what I think. I mean, there's still an element of it I do now, but I think that she certainly helped guide me in a way to where I wanted to get to.
You suffered a family tragedy as well with the loss of your brother Lee. How much did that affect you? I'm sure it must have been awful. Yeah,
it's tough because he's probably the closest person to me in my life, and at the time, and it was obviously a massive shock. And I was thinking about it yesterday. Actually, I was thinking like how proud he would be now in this job, because he's my biggest fan, and he'd be one of those out with the boys and calling me saying, "This is my sister. She plays football." Now it'd be, "This is my sister. She's the Ireland manager." So, yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. Horrible time.
I'm so sorry. You can see, I'm sure, how important the Irish team became to the Irish nation with World Cup qualification. I'm sure you're aware of Jack Charlton, Mick McCarthy, the influence that they've had as managers, and in Mick's case as a player and captain as well. But it's a big job, and getting to the World Cup is really the bottom line. We're in the beginning of a Nations League campaign, but the World Cup is really the ultimate destination for this group.
Yeah, it's a huge job because the expectation is huge, and we've got to match that up then with the ambition to want to get there, and this group are hungry to want to get there. So look, we've got all the ingredients. We've got a staff group that have got experience. We've got players that are hungry. It's our job now to get every ounce out of them to be able to get us there, but it's why I'm here. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, why Ireland? It's an opportunity to get to a World Cup. Do I believe we can? Yes. And there is people that say, you know, last time was a lucky route. You ride your luck in football. We have to ride our luck and make sure we get to 2027.
You can see the rise of England to winning the European Championship, to becoming finalists in the World Cup, the growth of the WSL. How can we mirror that in a small country like Ireland, in the shadow of the UK to an extent?
Yeah, I think success. I think small wins. You know, we're not talking major wins like the Euros or the World Cup. We're talking small wins. Winning the Nations League group, small win, inspires the next generation. Winning football matches, selling out the Tallaght, small wins. You know, it's inspiring people all the time. They're small things that can be achievable. I think getting to a World Cup will be huge again, and then getting that first win at a World Cup, that'll be huge. So they're all small wins. They're very different to what, you know, the position that England are in. They're in a very different position. So I think small wins will be key.
Will the Republic of Ireland women's team reflect Carla Ward, the Republic of Ireland manager?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I'm not somewhere that goes anywhere short term, and I like projects, I like building. And not just on the pitch, off the pitch, and I'm somebody that does a lot of fighting to try and, you know, always be better in everything we do. So I'd like to think that I can impact not just on the pitch but off the pitch as an organisation as well. Because
the development of the game here and of the players here, they can come so far, and then it seems like there's a drop-off point.
Yeah, of course, but you know, there's a good talent pool coming through, and if we can get that right with the development squad and we can bridge the gap between 19s and first team, the future is bright, really bright. It's how we now, that pool of players, we continue to progress and develop to make sure that they can get to the first team. Because
we'll finish where we started. The particular group of players, despite missing a lot of experience through retirements, is still a very special group. Some might even say a golden generation of Irish players that deserve success.
I think so. I actually touched on this in my interview, and I said, because there was a question around their age, and I said, it's coming into a peak age. You know, the average age is just below peak age. This is a really good opportunity to develop a group of players to continue the growth. So it's a really exciting time.
Well, Carla, we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
And starting on Friday against
Thank
Turkey.
you.
And hopefully the Nations League goes well, and then the World Cup beckons.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.